Welcome back to Glendale, Arizona. Moments away from the season opener between the Rangers and the Phoenix Coyotes. Thursday night hockey is presented by Ram. As always, closed captioning is brought to you by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know.
They bring all my stability to the now stable ground.
Here is our EA NHL 14 player profile. The best hockey video game is in stores now. EA NHL 14. Our player profile tonight, Rick Nash. Last season, 44 games in his first season as a New York Ranger, 21 goals, 21 assists, plus 16, 176 shots. And he was, at times, a dominant player on the ice, Joe.
He really was, Sam, and he was disappointed with his production in the playoffs. But when he was at the top of his game, this is what he was doing. All he needed was a half a step on a defender, and he would make plays like this. So big, so strong, his ability to handle the puck, and the great shot. You put that package together, and Rick Nash feels that he can have a better season this year. The coach, Alain Vigneault, told him, listen, I want you to be a complete player. That's all you have to focus on. Be a complete player. He's fired up, and I expect big things from him this season.
Now, our Land Rover scouting report on the Phoenix Coyotes, and it features a free agent acquisition. Last year, Rangers know Mike Ribeiro. He was with the Washington Capitals, a great playmaker. Mike Ribeiro, a free agent, long-term contract. He's the #1 center for the Coyotes, and in goal, a guy that the Coyotes feels one of the best in the league, Mike Smith.
Yeah, he is, and as far as Ribeiro is concerned, they needed the #1 center, as you mentioned, Sam. They also needed somebody that could run their power play, and he was a key part of that in Washington. In fact, he tied with Alexander Ovechkin for the NHL lead in power play points with 27. He led the league in power play assists, and the power play here in Phoenix has not been good the last couple of years, 25th and 29th. And so he will help tremendously there. And as far as Mike Smith is concerned, big at 6'4". He was tremendous 2 seasons ago. Last year he battled a groin injury all season long. His numbers went down, but they still signed him to a 6-year contract. He handles the puck as well as any goaltender in the league. They're going to have to keep the puck away from him.
And over the last 2 seasons, he's had the most shutouts in the NHL. Time for our Audi goaltending matchup, and there he is. The Rangers rock. Henrik Lundqvist, 4-2-1 in season openers against Mike Smith, and we're underway. The Rangers begin the game with Brian Boyle centering Taylor Pyatt, a former Coyote, and Mark Stahl moves in, gets a quick shot. It's deflected up into the netting. Derek Dorsett is the right wing on that line, with Mark Stahl on defense with Michael Del Zotto.
Boy, the head coach was nervous, wasn't he, before the game?
A little bit.
Yeah, but he's excited. You know, he's so excited to, you know, and he told us he just feels that this team, what he feels from these players is that they want to accomplish big things. It's a good feeling to have as a coach.
Quick line change. Derek Stepan with Brad Richards and Rick Nash. Here's a quick shot that goes wide by Stepan. That's fired across, goes by Del Zotto out of the zone. Stahl going back to get it, chased by Radim Vrbata, number 17. Stahl hit by Vrbata, takes the puck away, deflects it front. Martin Hansel tried to stuff it in, and it stayed out. Rangers move down. Richards on the puck with Del Zotto, and it's taken away. Fast pace to start the game. Zbigniew Michalek, number 4 on defense, who started his career with Minnesota, came to Phoenix, went to Pittsburgh for a couple of years, second year back. Here's Zuccarello with a pass across for Brassard that just missed. The line here is Brassard centering Zuccarello and Pouliot. There's a penalty upcoming. It's going to be against the Rangers.
What a pace to start this game. Boy, the Rangers have had 3 good scoring chances in the first minute and 6 seconds, but that all will change here. Pouliot, there he is, 67, coming across. Now you see the player in front of him ducked down, so he tried to get over, but his right arm catches the player in the head, takes him down. He gets the interference call against him, and so the Rangers will have to try to kill this first power play of the season.
Official call is holding at 1:06, and the Coyotes on the power play. Rangers win the draw. as Dominic Moore, back with the Rangers, wins the faceoff, and it was cleared by Stahl. Stahl on with Strawman, Hyatt, and Boyle to start the penalty kill. Shane Doan, number 19, 14 years captain of the Phoenix Coyotes, the franchise that started with Winnipeg, and Shane Doan has been with the franchise his entire career.
Never wanted to leave. Had the opportunity to leave as a free agent. Wanted to stay here.
Moves in. McDonough and Girardi on defense now for the Rangers with Dorsett and Moore on. This is Doan shooting. Save by Lundqvist. He covers up.
Again, this power play for Phoenix was 29th in the season, 29th in the NHL a season ago. And they brought in Newell Brown, who was an assistant in Vancouver, to help run the power play. And his big thing is always put yourself and be ready to shoot. Little pass there, ready to shoot was Shane Doan. Ready to make the save was Henrik Lundqvist.
I have to correct myself. For Shane Doan, only 10 years as a captain. It seems like 14, 18 years with the franchise, 10 years as captain.
Well, you know, Sam, the type of person that he is, he was always a captain even when he wasn't wearing a leather.
Point. You're right.
He's always been a leader.
Minute 10 to go in the power play. Face-off win by Antoine Vermette, number 50. David Schlemko moves it across to Keith Yandel and on to Radim Vrbata. Vrbata holding. Rangers have Boyle back on with Stahl and Strawman. That shot was stopped, and Strawman able to clear all the way down.
Now, Keith Yandel, number 3 on the point for the Phoenix Coyotes. You have to keep an eye on him. He led this team in power play goals a year ago with 5, and also led the team in scoring.
That's right. Offside whistled against Phoenix. One of 2 defensemen to lead his team in scoring last season. There is the head coach of the Phoenix Coyotes. His contract was up at the end of last season. The new ownership came in, took over, and he's been signed to a long-term contract. And boy, does that solidify this franchise.
It sure does. And he told us this morning, he said, you know, he had conversations with Don Maloney, the general manager, about what was going to happen, because he could have put himself on the market at the end of June. And Don Maloney says, I'm not letting you talk to anybody right now. And no one could talk to him prior to the end of June.
On the ice for the Rangers, number 12, Jesper Fast, making his NHL debut. Shot by Vrbata, blocked, and McDonough is hurt. That hit him up high. And they're waving to the Rangers bench to get trainer Jim Ramsey on the ice. And McDonough, one of the toughest guys we know, gets up.
Well, initially I thought it caught him in the neck. Here's Vrbata, who can really shoot it. And that hard rising shot seemed to catch him in the chin. Down he went. The officials did the right thing. They blew the whistle immediately because they sensed a serious injury. And so now Ryan McDonough back up on his skates, makes it to the bench. Jim Ramsey said, you're not going to the room. I'll fix you up right here and get you right back on the ice.
Looks like a cut.
Yeah.
Maybe on the chin, and they'll patch him up. All right, Ryan McDonough, he's something. He has just developed into one of the grittiest, toughest, hardest playing defenseman in the league.
And he's an all-round player. He was second in the Rangers in points for defense.
Schlemko with a big drive and a good save. Vrbata with a pass across. They missed the net. Yandel had room. That's played to the side of the net and blocked. Martin Hansel is bumped by Moore. Moore able to move it. Vermette went down. Boyle clears it out, and that does it. Couple of tough chances. Good save by Lundqvist, and good effort by the Rangers on the penalty kill.
What a chance for Yandel. I couldn't believe he missed it. He couldn't believe he missed it. The puck must have flipped up on end because he just fired it short. He had a wide open net.
Team's at full strength with Stepan, Richards, and Nash on. Save made by Lundqvist, who mishandled the puck. He went to play it behind the net, mishandled it, throw it out in front. They score! Kyle Chipchura gives the Coyotes a 1-0 lead.
Well, this was a couple of things happened. Lundqvist misplayed the puck, but he got back into the net, and it looked like the Rangers were going to be fine. Here's the initial dump in. Lundqvist tries to play it. He really doesn't. They get it back to the front of the net. Now watch this man over here. Ekman Larsson steps up. Stepan thought he had time to make a play. He loses it because of the defensive play of Ekman Larsson. And Chip Chura just steps in. He was wide open in the slot. That's been an issue for the Rangers in the preseason, is covering the slot. So Ekman Larsson, who a lot of people think could win a Norris Trophy this year, he is an outstanding young player. And he made an alert play to keep it alive.
Michael Bottker, number 89, bringing it in. That shot by Ribeiro went wide. Played in front, was blocked. Mike Ribeiro, number 63. Stahl on defense for the Rangers with Strowman. And the Rangers come out with it. Benoit Pouliot ahead for Brassard. Brassard trying to get it back. Doan back to break it up. Kyle Chipchura gets the goal. Klinkhammer and Ekman Larsson the assist at 3:36.
Now that's a huge goal because it's scored by the fourth line of the Phoenix Coyotes.
Rangers have Dominic Moore on the ice with JT Miller wearing number 10 on the left wing and Derek Dorsett, number 15, on the right wing.
Yeah, you know, the Rangers had a good start to this game. The first minute plus, they had 3 good scoring chances. They take the penalty, and then things change. Momentum.
Here's Del Zotto turning, wrist shot, deflection and a save. A deflection out high by Derek Stepan. Stepan's got it down with JT Miller on the ice and Derek Dorsett. And a penalty upcoming. I thought Dorsett got spun around by Rundblad, and Rundblad's going off.
Well, and the Rangers had a chance. What a save by Smith. Here comes the shot and the deflection. He didn't pick it up right away, but just at the last minute, he picks it up, kicks out the left pad. And there's Rundblad with the penalty. He goes off for holding, and so the Rangers have an opportunity on their power play, and they had put a lot of time on their power play in the preseason.
Rangers power play brought to you by Volkswagen. Shot by Stahl, deflects wide. Nash, JT Miller, and Derek Stepan up front. The point men, Brad Richards and Mark Stahl. Stahl bumped along the boards. Stepan takes over. Pressured there by Martin Hansel. Stepan looks around. And the pass taken away by former Ranger Lori Korpikoski.
He's a very good penalty killer. He has really found a home here in Phoenix. And this penalty killing as a group for Phoenix has been very aggressive.
Rick Nash takes it across. Stepan trying to break through. It's swept clear by Rob Klinkhammer. JT Miller to Brad Richards. Richards swings it around the board. Smith, who handles the puck so well. But that's batted out of the air by Nash with a high stick. Coyotes play it, and it's cleared all the way down.
Now you'll see Smith come out of the net all night and make those plays.
Alain Vigneault telling us before the game he thinks Mike Smith is the best stick-handling goaltender, puck-handling goaltender in the league.
I believe him, and he knows him from being in this Western Conference all those years with Vancouver.
Race for the puck. Antoine Vermette got there, then it was bumped by Del Zotto. Rangers turn it quickly. Derek Brassard with Pouliot and Zuccarello. Here's Brassard, a pass, save! Oh, Smith made a brilliant save and made a second one on Pouliot as well.
These saves are about as good as it gets. The first one was with the left pad. Race for the puck first. Here come the Rangers. And now it's a bad change by Phoenix. He'll make the first pad save and then a glove save. Once, twice. Zuccarello the second time. Pouliot the first shot. Zuccarello on the rebound. And Smith with 2 brilliant saves.
30 seconds to go in the power play for the Rangers. Lori Korpikoski brings it in against Anton Strowman. Strowman on with Mark Stahl. Nash, Stepan, and Richards. The puck taken away. Korpikoski sent it. Hansel is stopped twice.
Boy, Korpikoski, what work. He was able to put pressure on Stahl, cause the turnover, and then they end up with a shorthanded chance.
5 seconds to go in the Rangers power play. 7:15 gone by here in the first. Coyotes with a 1-0 lead. A clear intercepted by John Moore. Team's back at full strength. Each team 0 for 1 on the power play. Rangers had 1 shot on goal officially. I think there was 2 at least.
They've missed a few.
Yeah. Scramble in front, goes into the corner. Rangers have Taylor Pyatt on. Jesper Fast, number 12, is on. Ryan Boyle has come on. Oliver Ekman-Larsson gives it up to Girardi. Taylor Pyatt is hit hard by Ribeiro. Boyle moves in. He's taken down by one-time Ranger Derek Morris. And the Coyotes move out. Ribeiro on the puck. Doan try to get it back to Ribeiro. Went off the skate of John Moore. Girardi with the puck. That's dumped in by Dorsett. Chased down by Boyle. Boyle hit along the boards by Bottker. Tries to get it out in front. It's blocked. Digging for it. Coyotes come away with the puck. Shane Doan lifts it up. Boy, Doan plays well in his own zone, doesn't he?
He's such a good all-around player. And he was saying this morning now, he's really thinking more offense because he's playing with Ribeiro. He says, I know if I work hard, I'll get the puck.
JT Miller, who had an excellent preseason. That went off the glove of Del Zotto. 2-on-1 developing. Pass intended for Verbato was blocked. And the Rangers able to take it out. Miller was stopped on the play by David Schlemko, who gives it away to Miller. And he's checked by Chipchura. Miller whacked.
Jam, I know this
Schlemko,
is
sorry, Joe.
I know it's a surprise to you, but it was Mark Stahl that made the defensive play.
Yes. Pouliot turns. Rangers. Quick transition. 3-on-2. Pouliot down the middle. Brassard. The shot blocked. Blocked by Keith Yandel. Lucas Lesio, rookie left winger on for Phoenix. They are very high on that young man. Wears number 22.
Yeah, Dave Tippett telling us this morning he reminds him of Glenn Anderson, the way he skates and attacks the net.
Coyotes a 1-0 lead. 9:40 gone by in the first period. And we've had very few stoppages in play. Good hit by Mark Stahl on David Moss, the right winger, number 18.
Moss looked to be a little shaken up after that hit. Hard shoulder-to-shoulder hit by Stahl.
Brought in by Hansel. He's bumped on the play. Korpikoski fanned on the shot. Stepan takes over and clears it out. Coyotes 7 shots on goal. Rangers 3. Coyotes a 1-0 lead on a goal by Kyle Chipchura. And we're past the midway point, first period. Lead for Stepan, missed. Smith out to play it, around to Morris. Morris sending it back to Yandel. Up the boards, Del Zotto steps up. Fires it across, intercepted by Yandel. Yandel met by Fast and sends it around the boards. Del Zotto's pass going off the sideboards, played around the boards by Schlemko. Rundblad able to get it to Bottker. Michael Bottker sends it deep. Girardi takes a hard hit. That's countered by Boyle's hit on Shane Doan.
Good play there by Girardi. Calm in his own zone, finds a man open in the middle of the ice.
Haas made a nice little play in the neutral zone. Reached out, chipped the puck past the defender, got it in deep. Coyotes able to come back out.
He's really a smart player, isn't he, Sam? He makes such subtle plays. Does Jesper Fast.
John Moore. Tipped ahead by JT Miller. Smith watches it go by. Miller is there. Moore for the Rangers. Dominic Moore taken back and brought out by Klinkhammer. Played it to open ice. Stroman gets there first. Able to clear it out. Good pace to the game. And a whistle stops play. It deflected off the bench. 8:07 to go in the first period. Phoenix Coyotes with a 1-0 lead on the Rangers.
John Giannone back in Glendale between the benches. Amazing pace in the first 11 minutes and 53 seconds. Brian Boyle was standing next to me on that last whistle that sent us to the first commercial break, and he said thank you to the linesman when the whistle actually blew. It's been that fast pace so far. Hey, we've got Brad Richards coming up between periods. We invite you to send your questions. Use Twitter, use the hashtag NYR, and we'll talk to the Rangers alternate captain about what it's like to have moved from left wing to center, how that might adjust and affect his mindset heading into games. Sam and Joe?
I knew something was missing with that fast pace. We never talked to John.
I know. He's got a great spot between the benches. And actually, he meant from center to left wing. But that's how fast paced this first period has been.
Coyotes a 1-0 lead past the 12-minute mark of the first period. David Schlemko moves up with it. Now another young player, Chris Brown, number 44, moved it ahead. Back the other way, Brassard. We talked with Derek Brassard this morning. Really likes the configuration of this line with Benoit Pouliot and Matt Zuccarello. Feels they have a real good chemistry and good playmakers on the line, and will look well for each other. Tomorrow on MSG, find out everything you need to know for Sunday's Giants-Eagles game. And you say must win for the Giants? Get ready for the kickoff with Giants 1st and 10 tomorrow night at 10 p.m. on MSG Network. What did you say?
Must win.
I agree with you.
I don't know if they'll win the next 12 like some of their players think, but...
Antrell Roll's a believer.
Right.
Positive thinking.
If they can get 10 or 11, that would be good.
That would be good enough.
They'd win their division.
I think so. Strawman for Richards. Good pass. Step on. Trailer. Delzato saves Smith. The rebound cleared away. Oh, good play. Strawman shoots. That's blocked in front. Good block by McCulloch. Pushed ahead by Korpikoski. In deep against Delzato. Good hit by Delzato. Puck bounces around to Rick Nash, who lifts it out of the zone.
You know, Sam, we've talked often about how Alain Vigneault wants his defense joining the rush, getting involved, putting yourself in a position to get a chance, and Delzato did just that.
Zuccarello all over Verbata, forced him back. Ekman-Larsson lifts it out, tries to lead Verbata with the alley-oop. Nice play. Look at the stride of John Moore.
He will not outskate John Moore. In fact, he might even have a step or two on him and still might not get an opportunity.
Pouliot was forced an offside as he stick handled on the line. Rangers went across, 6:18 to go in the first.
Well, Alain Vigneault has liked what he has seen on a Michael Delzato. He said he's got a lot of upside offensive potential. Now here's the play. Look at this subtle little pass here from Strawman. Now to Richards. Good pass. Second pass here. Delzato reads it perfectly, puts himself in a position to get a scoring chance, and Mike Smith with a real good pad save.
Delzato back for the puck. Delzato on here with Strawman. Foss couldn't handle it. Ribeiro plays it deep for Shane Doan. Taken away by Delzato. Doan knocked it loose. Foss controls. Strawman. Long pass, deflects, gets through to Taylor Pyatt. Now Brian Boyle's backhander went wide.
Now the Rangers still rotating 5 defensemen.
Oh, quick shot by Boyle. Good effort by Foss along the boards. And Ribeiro got tied up with Jesper Foss. New York Rangers individual game tickets are on sale now. Visit NewYorkRangers.com to purchase. And that will get you into the beautifully new, transformed Madison Square Garden.
Looking forward to that.
Oh, boy.
The 28th of October is our first look at the building.
Everybody's been in it with the hard hats, saying it's beautiful.
We don't have to wear those, do we?
No.
We don't think.
It'll be safe for us. Hansel with a hit on Girardi. Are you saying, Joe, that the Rangers rotating 5D with McDonough still out?
Now McDonough just got back to the bench.
Ekman-Larsson to McCulloch. Up ahead, Verbata. Goal by Kyle Chipchura early in the first. And Phoenix with a 1-0 lead. Coyotes have not had a shot on goal in several minutes.
Well, they had that flurry when they scored the goal because of their power play, where they had some chances on the power play. They had some momentum. It carried forward to the next shift, and the fourth line scored.
Puck was missed by Lesio. Lesio takes it away from Moore.
He's strong. Lesio, 210 pounds.
Across to Schlemko. That was blocked. Nice play by Dorsett. Taken back. Pass across was blocked. Rangers break out. JT Miller. Down the middle, Delzato. Miller's pass was deflected away by Rundblad. Chased down by Miller. He's checked there by Schlemko. Miller gets loose. Bumped by David Moss, who clears it out to Antoine Vermette. Vermette in his second season with the Coyotes.
Yeah, he was acquired at the trade deadline 2 years ago. Last year was his first full season. A really good, solid, all-around centerman. 5th in the league last year in face-offs.
Good penalty killer. Here's McDonough back on the ice. His shot was blocked across and taken by Rob Klinkhammer. Long pass off the skate of Chipchura. He goes deep against McDonough. Chipchura stays with it. Hard hit by McDonough. Klinkhammer trying to play it. It's taken away by Brassard. Brassard and Vermette were teammates in Columbus. Morris took out Zuccarello. Brassard in deep looking for the puck. Chipchura's helmet popped off. And Keith Yandel fires it off the boards, or did it go over the glass?
I think it's going to be a penalty, Sam.
Yes. Rangers going to get a power play. Yandel put the puck over the glass into the crowd.
There you see underneath what Alain Vigneault did in Vancouver with his power play in the last 3 years. It's pretty darn good. Now, one of the people that he had running that power play in Vancouver has been hired here in Phoenix. That's Newell Brown, who was with Alain Vigneault in Vancouver, and prior to that, he spent 5 seasons in Anaheim.
Rangers' second power play of the game. This Rangers power play brought to you by Volkswagen. Stahl across to Richards and back. Stepan Nash and Miller. Shot by Nash, save. Rather Richards with the shot. Beautiful glove save by Mike Smith.
Boy, is he off to a start. That was a beautiful pass from Derek Stepan. And it was a good move by Richards, who read it perfectly. Richards was stationary over on the other side, and he just moves in from the point. Put himself in a position to get the pass, took the shot right off the pass, and Smith, good save.
Interesting that Alain Vigneault likes the youngster JT Miller in front on the power play here.
Well, he's not afraid to go there, and he's got good hands and patience when he has the puck. So as he's talked off, and it's so important to have somebody around the front of the net to screen, to get deflections, get to loose pucks.
Stepan, lead to Miller. Miller was checked by Ekman Larson. Mark Stahl's got it. He and Richards have switched sides. Here's Stahl with room and a big drive. Stick save by Smith. Up the boards, Richards. Knocked down by McCulloch. He clears. 2:35 to go, first period. Rangers trailing 1-0. They have 2 shots on this power play, which has a minute remaining. Girardi on. Long pass for Brassard. Went by him. Morris sweeps it away. Delzato and Girardi with Zuccarello, Brassard, and Pouliot. Zuccarello. Brassard stopped at the line. Rangers have to get onside.
Good job by Derek Morris. He stepped right up at the blue line and prevented Brassard from carrying the puck over the blue line. He forced him back into the neutral zone, and the Rangers had to regroup.
Hard around the boards. Look at Smith. He gets out so quickly. Tried to handle it, but hit the net. The pass is tipped as Smith dove in front to recover. Here come the Coyotes. Antoine Vermette knocked down with a glove by Lundqvist. Tough shot. Back the other way, Pouliot. 12 seconds to go in the power play. Chopped that by McDonough. Loose puck to Stralman. Moves it and shoots. Saved by Smith. 5 seconds left in the power play. Monday night on MSG Network. The Rangers season continues as they move to LA to take on the LA Kings. Visa Rangers game night at 10, followed by the Rangers and the Kings, presented by Chase, Monday night, right here on MSG Network.
Well, the Ranger defensemen are getting opportunities in this first period. We saw Del Zotto, we saw Stahl, Strawman with that last chance. Mike Smith's been good, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Really sharp.
Boyle on the face-off. Strawman steps up toward the net but wide, and the power play is over. Rangers 0 for 2 on the power play. 3 shots on that last power play, 5 for the game on the power play.
Sam, you know, Mike Smith played for Team Canada in the World Championships. It was the first time he's ever represented Canada in anything, and he said, boy, it was really special to him. And then he got invited to the Olympic, what do they call them? It wasn't a camp, they didn't go on ice.
Yeah, the camp.
The camp, we'll call it the camp. Orientation camp.
Yeah, the feeling around here amongst the Phoenix people, they like Mike Smith, obviously. They feel that he could be the third goaltender on Team Canada.
There were 5 goaltenders invited to that orientation camp. He was one of them. He has really turned into quite the goaltender under the tutelage of an old Benoit Allaire goaltender as well.
Sean Burke.
Sean Burke's done a wonderful job with him.
That last call was the hybrid icing. We should make note of that. That is now in the league. It's been approved by the Players Association, so we will see hybrid icing as they go for the puck. If the defender is ahead of the offensive player, they'll at the dots, they'll blow it down.
Yeah, it's all about safety, and they just don't want to see those types of collisions where players are getting hurt, their careers put in jeopardy.
45 seconds remaining, first period. Stay with us between periods. John Giannone will rejoin us for the Delta Intermission Report. Brad Richards is special guest. Offside, Phoenix on the play. Coyotes a 1-0 lead. They scored early, a goal by Kyle Chipchura at 3:36, giving them the lead. New York Rangers hockey is brought to you in part by Lenox Hill Hospital, the official hospital of the New York Rangers. Stahl with the outlet, tipped ahead by Dominic Moore. Smith. Derek Morris moves it up. Ribeiro to Doan, and now Michael Bottker. Good job by Girardi. And Dominic Moore able to clear it out. 10 seconds remaining in the first period. Pressure by Taylor Pyatt. Moore up the boards to Girardi. Long shot knocked down in front by Yandel. Played toward the front, the horn sounds, and the first period comes to an end. Good pace in this first period. Rangers had some opportunities, especially on the second power play, but failed to score, and the Coyotes have a 1-0 lead.
I love the speed of that first period. I mean, both teams. I thought the Rangers really got off to a good start, but they took that penalty, and that kind of changed things around a little bit. Some short-term momentum for Phoenix, and one mistake by the Rangers led to the only goal.
Kyle Chipchura has the goal, and the Coyotes lead the Rangers 1-0 end of the first. Coming up, it's the Delta Intermission Report. Brad Richards is John's special guest. We'll have the Audi MSG 150 with Bill Pito. Bill and Ron Duguay will have first period highlights. It's all coming up on the Delta Intermission Report. Rangers heading for the locker room. Opening night of the season for the New York Rangers in Phoenix. And a fast-paced start. The Rangers unable to get on the board. Phoenix leads it 1-0 into 1. Welcome back to Glendale, Arizona. Opening night for the Rangers and Phoenix Coyotes. New York Rangers hockey is presented by Chase. Joe, what did you see on that goal by the Coyotes in the first period?
Well, first of all, it was Ekman Larsson that made such a wonderful play. He caught Derek Stepan by surprise. You see him coming in from the right side, top of your screen. Right there, he makes the play. But even after that, the Rangers are fine. So if we stop it here, now the puck is right here. But look at the Rangers. They're all staring at the man behind the net. No one is looking to the slot, and that's where they have a problem. Good pass. No one picked up the man that scored the goal. That was Kyle Chipchura. And so they turned that turnover by Ekman Larsson into the only goal of the game.
Boyle, Dorsett, and Pyatt begin the second period. They began the game for the Rangers. Delzato and Stahl on defense.
Now McDonough played under 3 minutes in that first period. We're not used to seeing that, as he was in getting his chin stitched up.
Boyle missed the net with a hard wrist shot. Dorsett along the boards, challenging Shane Doan. Keith Yandel takes over. Now Mike Ribeiro. Ribeiro waits. Ribeiro played for Dave Tippett for 3 seasons in Dallas. There's a quick shot save. A great save by Lundqvist. Big chance for the Coyotes. And a whistle. The net was knocked off the pegs. And play stops.
That was McCulloch that came in from the right point and ended up with a shot. Lundqvist made a beautiful save. The play from behind the net, that was Bottker that made the play. And McCulloch got the shot. Lundqvist, good save. Here it is again. Mikhail Bottker, who's slowly turning into a star as well on that top line. And McCulloch, who was here, then left for Pittsburgh as a free agent, and then was traded back here. And Sam, you mentioned Ribeiro playing for Dave Tippett. He told me yesterday, he said it was one of the main reasons why he decided to come back here. He loved playing for Tippett in Dallas.
Played out to Korpikoski. This line of Hansel, Verbata, and Korpikoski has been matched up against the Stepan Richards Nash line for most of the game thus far.
And Sam, you know, I should make one more point. He loved playing for Adam Oates in Washington, but it came down to contract. Washington offered him 3 years for $12 million. He got 4 years here and $22 million. So
nice to have new ownership with some money.
Right.
Smith with a save on the chance by Stepan.
I'd love the coach too.
Verbata sends it deep. Anton Strawman. Strawman with John Moore. Rangers healthy scratches tonight. Aaron Asham and Justin Falk. And of course the guys who are out injured, the captain Ryan Callahan, who's getting close to returning, and Carl Hagelin.
And the Rangers are going to power play here, Sam. Looks like an interference call.
Third
against
straight.
Phoenix.
Coyotes had the first power play of the game. Now the Rangers have had the last 3. David Schlemko, the defenseman, into the penalty box.
Now Derek Brassard right there at the blue line. The puck has already passed everyone, and Schlemko stands him up, takes him out of the play. He did not have the puck. That's interference.
Rangers set up with Girardi and Delzato at the points. Brassard, Pouliot, and Zuccarello the forwards. Nice keep in. Good play by Girardi. Here's Brassard. Now Delzato. Girardi, quick pass. It's behind Brassard and out of the zone.
Now he made a quick move with his left foot, did Dan Girardi, to keep that play alive, and then just misfired on the pass.
Brassard moves in. Let go penalty at 1:58 of the second period. Delzato. Pouliot goes to the front. Save with a left pad by Smith.
And that one was deflected by Pouliot.
Race for the puck. Girardi with Klinkhammer. Who shoved Girardi on the play. Long outlet to Stepan. Just off the bench. Miller across to Richards. Saved by Smith.
Now, the one big difference, Sam, that I see in this power play as opposed to the last few years is these players are looking up. If they have a chance to shoot, they're taking the shot.
Okay.
Getting players to the net, and they're getting shots.
Korpikoski with a hit on Stepan. The puck around hit the referee. Nice play by Richards to keep in. Stahl put it in front. It was cleared away by Derek Morris. 30 seconds to go on the Rangers power play. Richards. Stepan. Now Rick Nash. Nash, open man. Stahl, he scores! Mark Stahl! It's a power play goal! And the game is tied 1-1.
Now the Rangers On this power play in particular, they're doing a good job of moving the puck up the net, up the ice. Starts from behind their own net, and now the passing and the finding the open lanes. And Mark Stahl just keeps going. He was like this throughout training camp. There he is, gets it, and no hesitation. What a shot. Mike Smith is 6'4". Even when he goes down to his knees, he takes up a lot of space. And that shot had to be perfect by Mark Stahl, and it was to tie the game.
Good play by Rick Nash. The peripheral vision, seeing Stahl coming on the side, fed him beautifully. Rangers tie it 1-1, and they're 1 for 3 on the power play. From the point, David Rundblad knocked down in front. Boyle pressured on the play, knocked away by Bodker. Nash and Stepan the assist. Stahl gets the goal. The Rangers' first of the season at 3:38 of the second period. All the way back, and there's the hybrid icing we talked about in the first period. Again, the defender ahead of the offensive man as they reach the dots, and the whistle automatically blows, stopping play and calling the icing. Mark Stahl. Boy, Joe, you sensed it from the outset of training camp, the way he was going.
Thought he was the best player. I just thought he was the best player. He said that he had something to prove to himself. Wanted to take all the fears out of his game because of the eye injury. He did after one game. Wanted to play a lot of minutes. A lot of people are happy for that young man, aren't they, Sam?
Absolutely. We know what an outstanding player he is, but he's also, for those who don't know him, a very special person from a great family.
Yep, he's a really special guy, loved by his teammates and loved by that man right there. I mean, you think of Mark Stahl and how much power play time that he has received over the last 3-4 years. It's almost been zilch, right? But Alain Vigneault came in and saw something, because he told his defenseman, I want everybody get involved. And he noticed right away, he says, I'm going to try him on the power play. Pays off here in game one.
Certainly has. Rangers have Dominic Moore with Dorsett and JT Miller. Strawman double team. Help from John Moore. Puck loose in front. Saved by Lundqvist. On the shot by Lucas Lessio. Penalty upcoming on the Rangers.
Boy, what work from Lessio. Lessio did all the work. Just kept on going. That's the type of play that Dave Tippett was telling us about from Lessio, number 22. I mean, he just keeps working. Here he is. He gets a shot. Lundqvist has to make the save, and then a hooking call after that. For Lessio, he's got 13 people from just outside of Toronto. His mom, his dad, uncles, aunts, you name it. All kinds of family. It is. First NHL game tonight for that kid.
Good for him. Power play Phoenix, their second of the game. John Moore goes for hooking at 4:46. David Rundblad with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Here's Rundblad moving in. Shot was deflected, goes way up into the netting, and play stops.
Good stick work by McDonough. Getting his stick in the shooting lane and deflecting that up and over the glass. For Rundblad, was formerly a #1 pick of the St. Louis Blues. Got traded to Ottawa and then came here from Ottawa. He led this Coyote team in scoring in the preseason. Did the Blues
get a first-round pick in that trade?
No, they traded Rundblad, who was a first-round pick, to Ottawa for a first-round pick, and then the Blues drafted Tarasenko.
Oh, okay.
Who was a good rookie last year before getting injured.
Ribeiro makes his way in the zones to Ekman-Larsson, now to Rundblad. Rundblad to Ekman-Larsson. That's deflected. Good save by Lundqvist on a deflection. Rangers have Boyle and Pyatt with Girardi and McDonough. Ribeiro sets it up.
No stick for Boyle.
Minute 10 to go in the power play. Pyatt trying to clear is taken away by Bodker. Here's Michael Bodker with a shot blocked. Good block by McDonough. Couldn't clear. That was stopped by Rundblad. Great effort by McDonough. Ekman-Larsson to Rundblad. That went off of Pyatt. That shot is blocked as Boyle went down without the stick, and he made a good block. McDonough.
They whistle, don't they? They
do.
whistle here so that they can get regrouped. Boyle can get a stick. They need fresh players on the ice.
Coyotes had 4 players behind the goal line. Out to Rundblad. Long time in the Rangers zone. Set up for Doan. He missed wide. It bounced past Ribeiro. He chases it down. Pyatt stops him. Out to Ekman Larsson. Now Doan to Ekman Larsson. To Rundblad. Ekman Larsson with a shot. Saved by Lundqvist. Pyatt's got it and clears it. Rangers survive.
And they can't all get off the ice because the ability of Smith to handle the puck.
Pass across to Yandel. Feeds for Med and gets it back. Now for Doan. It went by him. Power play is over. John Moore out of the box.
The 2 defensemen are still on the ice. That's Girardi and McDonough. They can hardly skate. They can hardly stand up. They're both bleeding over.
Moore comes back to help him out. Moore takes it away. Can't get it out of the zone. Shot by Morris. Save. Lundqvist. Here's another chance. Save. Rebound score. Radim Vrbata. He got his own rebound.
Well, the player who's not going to get an assist on this play is Mike Smith. But his alert play coming out of the net to handle the puck and putting it right back down the ice did not allow McDonough and Girardi, who were just gassed on this play. I mean, they had nothing left. Lundqvist made 1 save but couldn't control the rebound. Vrbata gets his own rebound. Shot right back to him. Lundqvist was tied up, and there's the reaction of Ryan McDonough, who was out there for the full 2 minutes along with Girardi. They never got a chance to get off the ice. And Mike Smith was very sharp in getting that puck back up the ice quickly.
Vrbata gets the goal at 7:05. Derek Morris will get 1 assist. Coyotes have the lead for the second time of the game. 7:20 gone by, second period. Chipchura, slowed down by Stahl, has it back. Leaves it for McCulloch. He took a hit from Stahl. Martin Hansel also gets an assist on the goal at 7:05.
Now, Sam, that's 2 goals by Phoenix directly after they've been on the power play.
Exactly right. 7:35 gone by, second period. Rangers tied it on a power play goal. The Coyotes broke the tie.
John Giannone back in Glendale. There's Radim Vrbata. He had the second goal, but during the break, Alain Vigneault wanted to know if this was goaltender interference. You see Martin Hansel kind of blocking the path of Henrik Lundqvist. We take a look at the overhead. Lundqvist and Hansel come together, and then the goal is scored. Tom Cowell, the referee, guys, basically explained to Alain Vigneault that Henrik Lundqvist was outside the crease, and that's why he didn't make a call there.
He was?
I didn't think he was.
I didn't think he was outside the crease.
And I thought Hansel was inside the crease.
Right.
But nevertheless, the goal stands. Coyotes have the lead. That went off the skate, redirected on goal. And Lundqvist played it away. Delzato pressured there by Lucas Lesio. Brassard trying to move it. Pouliot got around Morris, whose stick was broken on the play. Lesio bumps with Delzato. And Zuccarello moves it ahead. Here's Brassard. Shoots wide. We talked with Derek Brassard this morning. We asked him what he wanted from himself this season. He said, the coaches want me to shoot more. He kind of smiled about that because he's a playmaker, but he said, you know what? They're probably right.
They're always right. You know? When it comes to getting players to shoot the puck.
Bodker leaves it for Doan. Toward the net. Stick save made by Lundqvist. Girardi put it in the corner. Step on back against Ribeiro. McDonough's there. Ribeiro fires it out. And Schlemko played it away from Nash. Nash was looking for a steal and a breakaway. Good play in front by McDonough. Off the boards to Nash. Now Stepan. That's stopped by Rundblad. Nash takes over. Falls down. Gets it to Richards. Deflects across. And David Rundblad fires out for Ribeiro. Vrbata. He's tied up there by Stahl. And Michael Delzato moves it up. Dorsett across.
You know, that Verbata is an underrated goal scorer. That's 48 goals now in his last 112 games. That's a pretty good clip. This is the last year of his contract. Don Maloney, the general manager here, is already negotiating a new deal.
Shot by Dorsett was blocked. Through the first period, Phoenix had 9 blocked shots. They've had a couple of more here in the second. And we're at the midway point, second period. Long shot, save with a blocker by Lundqvist. Dorsett clears it out. Delzato try to get it to Boyle. And it's a hybrid icing whistled. 9:44 remaining. Wednesday night on MSG Network. Carmelo goes back to work. It's preseason basketball. The Knicks and the Boston Celtics. Live coverage gets underway at 7:30. Knicks preseason basketball Wednesday night on MSG. The Knicks propped up their roster. They look like they've got a good-looking team heading for the new season. Mike Woodson got a year extension. Best wishes to Steve Mills,
yeah, nice
our old friend.
Yep.
Back now as the general manager.
Boyle again without a stick. He broke it on Ribeiro.
Ribeiro trying to pass. It was blocked. Stahl takes it away. Ribeiro hounds him. That's knocked down and kept in by Yandel. Lundqvist out to get it. And Zotto around the boards. Boyle's got to get better sticks if they're going to break like that. That's the deflection, goes wide by Bottker.
That's why he couldn't clear the puck on the boards on that side. He didn't have a stick.
Morris shoots. That's blocked by Boyle. Morris again. Save Lundqvist, and he holds it. Trouble stops. Lundqvist stops play. 9:04 to go in the second. Coyotes lead the Rangers.
Ryan McDonough, it's been this kind of night. He gets hit with a shot from Verbata. Had to head to the locker room and get stitched up, fixed up, comes right back out killing a penalty, and there's just no fear in his game.
Yeah.
Dives to try and block that, which he did, and then he couldn't get off the ice. That was a long, long penalty kill. He was on the ice for over 2 minutes, and eventually Verbata scores that one to give Phoenix the 2-1 lead.
Rangers have gone into a bit of a drought offensively here. The Coyotes have had the last 11 shots on goal in the game.
Sam, they've taken advantage of their power play, and it's given them momentum, and they've been able to carry that forward after the power play expires.
Pyatt takes the puck away, moves toward the net, and it was knocked away. Backhander, a save, as Jesper Fast got a chance. And the Rangers break that streak. John Moore tied up in the corner by the defenseman, David Rundblad. Lesio moves it behind the net for Vermette, but he was cut off by Strawman. Stepan moves it to John Moore. Moore dumps it in and chases. Look at the defenseman. That's what Joe was talking about the defenseman joining the offense. Saw Moore dump it in and go after it.
Boy, when you can skate like that, you can go in and put pressure and still get back defensively.
Will begin Korpikoski, checked by Strawman. Korpikoski up the boards to McCulloch. That's blocked by Richards. Bounces down, played by Hansel. Back out to McCulloch. A deflection, a high deflection. And that's going to be touched with a high stick. It's whistled down. Verbata had the stick above the shoulder. And after the whistle, in the corner, some pushing and shoving.
Stepan, Hansel came in. Korpikoski is playing left wing on that line. He's getting a real opportunity there. Phoenix Coyotes are looking for a left wing to play on that second line, and they're giving Korpikoski the chance right now. I don't think it's a long-term solution. You know who used to play there is Ray Whitney.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a couple of real good years here. And so Lauri Korpikoski, who signed a 4-year contract extension in the offseason.
Former first-round draft pick of the Rangers. Played one full season with the Rangers before he was traded to Phoenix. Developed into not a spectacular player, but a real solid all-around player.
Yeah, good. They're very good defensive player. Excellent penalty killer. And has a little bit of offense to his game.
McCulloch bangs it off the boards. Delzato goes to get it. 7:25 to go, second period. Coyotes with a 2-1 lead. Kyle Chipchura scored for Phoenix early in the first period. Rangers tied it with a power play goal by Mark Stahl here in the second. And the Coyotes broke the tie on a goal by Radim Vrbata. Zdeněk McCulloch sends it around the boards. Ribeiro waits for it. He's checked there by Stepan. Bodker to Ribeiro and out to Keith Yandle. Morris checked by Richards. Stepan takes over. What do you see in Stepan's game, Joe? Is he all the way back?
No, he's not. And it'll take him a while. When you miss most of training camp, a few days doesn't get it done. He needs to play more games.
Morris with the intercept. Heading the other way. Korpikoski with a drive deflected out of play by Dan Girardi. 6:33 remaining here in the second period.
And getting back to Stepan, Sam, you know, he just needs to play. You know, he just needs to, especially now with the pace of the regular season games, much higher than what he saw in practice. Of course, he didn't play any preseason games for the Rangers. So when he's at the top of his game, you'll notice him with the puck and making plays. He hasn't had the puck all that much in this game.
Coyotes control. David Schlemko toward the net. That was blocked in front by Dominic Moore. And dumped in by J.T. Miller. Dorsett after it. Schlemko is there. Good job by Dorsett to tie him up. Miller against Hansel. Hansel with a good effort to take it away.
Boy, 6'6", so big and strong and good defensively.
And play whistle down. That's an icing on the Phoenix Coyotes. 6:05 remaining here in the second. It was interesting you mentioned Hansel. Head coach Alain Vigneault in our chat before the game telling us that Hansel was one of the top centers out on the West.
Sure.
That us Easterners didn't get to see him all that much, but he's a very, very good player.
Yeah, and Dave Tippett uses him in so many different roles. You know, you're talking about Dave Tippett. He said what was really important to him before he decided to re-sign here is that Don Maloney would be returning and his group of people in the hockey department. If they weren't returning, especially Don Maloney, then he would have probably ended up coaching someplace else.
Nice lead to Zuccarello. He shoots off the post. Great shot by Zuccarello, just missed. Back the other way. Vermette fanned on the shot as he was checked by John Moore. Alessio tied up by Brassard. Alessio trying to play it. Pouliot helps out. Moved across. Yandle centers, goes all the way through. Played by Pouliot. Out of the zone. And Keith Yandle takes it back.
That shot by Zuccarello, he faked the shot with his eyes. Looked one way and then took the shot.
There he comes again. That's a pass all the way through to Stepan just off the bench. Fired a deflection, a save. Richards with a beautiful deflection. And Smith with a great save. Yandle carries in. Stopped by Delzato. Stahl trying to play it. And it's lifted ahead to Nash from Stepan. To Delzato racing in. Now it's Richards faking. Takes it deep. That pass blocked. I believe Mike Smith blocked it with the stick. Fired across by Richards to Delzato. His shot deflects off the glass. Stahl trying to work it deep. Blocked by Bodker. Stahl against Doan. Yandle reverses. Good pressure by the Rangers here. Ribeiro moving it across. Here comes Yandle. Stahl back with Delzato. Yandle dropped it off. Ribeiro moves in. Ribeiro shoots, save, Lundqvist with Bodker in front of him. Bodker's got it for Phoenix. 4:15 to go in the second. Behind the net, Ribeiro knocked away. Good play by Delzato. Ekman Larsson's pass was tipped. Ribeiro against Delzato. Just off the bench, Vrbata. And a great play by Stahl. What a play by Mark Stahl.
Oh, he's got that long reach and the anticipation. That was a beautiful play.
Up the boards, Korpikoski chipped away from him by Girardi. Along the boards, Rangers force it into the zone. Taylor Pyatt pressuring Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Girardi steps up. Girardi moves in with a backhander block by McCulloch. Shot by McDonough was saved by Smith. Good pressure by the Rangers. Back-to-back shifts. Now Vrbata able to get it out. McCulloch lifts it. And Girardi takes over.
I think the Rangers defensemen have had the best chances in this game.
Here's Boyle with Jesper Fast. Finds a man. It's Pyatt. The backhander goes wide. Boyle out-muscled Rundblad for the puck. Pyatt moves in. Now Boyle had it knocked away by Chris Brown. Cleared out by Rob Klinkhammer. Schlemko was stopped by Strawman and is brought in by Pouliot. Looking for Zuccarello. It went by him. Kept in by Moore. In deep, Brassard behind the net. Checked there by Rundblad. Pouliot bangs at it. Brassard trying to move it. Off the glass. Chased down by Pouliot. Worked deep by Girardi to Zuccarello. In front is Brassard. Couldn't get a clean shot. Got a little of it. Smith stops it with 2:16 to go in the second period. Rangers down 2-1. They almost tied it on this shot by Matt Zuccarello. Off the post and out.
In front of the net is number 18, Mark Stahl. Here's the defensive play. The long reach. Just sit, watch him. Look around, look around. Now he knows he can release. That's Vrbata, who has the good scoring chance. Not only does he make the defensive play, but he then controls the puck and leads the rush out to the zone.
Richards taking the face-off in the offensive zone with Stepan and Nash. Play back to Stahl. Stepan quickly in front, intercepted by Ekman-Larsson. Here's Vermette with David Moss. And the shot went over the top. Seemed like the puck rolled on him, and it went over the top. Richards across for Nash. Nash slowed down by Ekman-Larsson.
Nash hasn't had many chances in this game. He's got to find a way, and they've got to find a way to get him the puck where he's got some room to make a play.
In deep. Klinkhammer played it away from Del Zotto, but Stahl was there. Minute and a half to go, second period, 2-1. Coyotes lead it. Played in by Moore. Mike Smith fires it ahead. Moore got a piece of it.
He is courageous with the puck.
Oh boy, he doesn't hesitate. Is it better to keep it away from him, Joe?
If you can, yeah, for sure. You can either, if you have enough time to dump it in the corners softly, or you go hard around the glass.
Smith moves it under a minute to go. Outlet for Ribeiro. Behind the back, he gave it away to McDonough. Rangers turn it. Dorsett moves in. Dorsett fires. Stick save by Smith. McDonough steps up. Took a hit. Derek Morris. Long pass. Ho-ho! That would have been a breakaway. Ribeiro was waiting, and Girardi dove across to get it with a stick. Another long pass. This one for Michael Bodker. Kicked ahead by Vrbata with a skate. Rangers take it back. Del Zotto moves across. Played away by Morris. Stay with us. Upcoming between periods, the New York Lottery intermission report with John Giannone. Derek Stepan will be his special guest. Bill Pito will have the Audi MSG 150, and Bill and Ron Duguay with highlights. Stay with us. Saved by Lundqvist, didn't see it. It popped in the air. He had no idea where it went. And the period comes to an end. Rangers got a power play goal from Mark Stahl. Tied it at 1-1. Coyotes took advantage of a lengthy defensive shift and broke the tie on a goal by Vrbata.
Well, that's what the Coyotes have done on the 2 goals they have scored. They've been generated because of the good power plays that they've had, the momentum, and then they've come back on the next shift and scored. this second period did not have the same pace that we saw in the first period. I thought Phoenix came out and played a better defensive period than in the first.
Coyotes lead the Rangers 2-1. End of 2 coming up. Derek Stepan will join John Giannone on the New York Lottery Intermission Report. Bill Pito and Ron Duguay standing by in our studio in New York with the Audi MSG 150 and second period highlights. Rangers and Phoenix Coyotes opening night here in Glendale, Arizona. And the Rangers have a power play goal for Mark Stahl, but the Coyotes lead it 2-1.
This copyrighted telecast is authorized and the rights granted by Madison Square Garden solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publications, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of Madison Square Garden is prohibited.
We are back in Glendale, Arizona. The season opener, the Rangers and Phoenix Coyotes. New York Rangers hockey is presented by Chase. Sam Rosen, Joe Micheletti, John Giannone. Glad you're with us. And it's that special time of the evening, Joe, the Cadillac trivia question. Who was the last Ranger to record a hat trick in a season opening game?
That wasn't that many years ago.
No, it wasn't.
Number 21, right?
Recent history. That's correct. Derek Stepan in his New York Rangers debut, his NHL debut in Buffalo.
Right. That was quite the night. His parents were there to see him play his first game.
Change to start the period. Alain Vigneault started the first 2 periods with his third line. He goes with his top line here of Stepan, Richards, and Nash. What are your thoughts, Joe, about what the Rangers have to do here?
Well, stay out of the penalty box because both those goals were scored right after the penalties expired. And I thought the last 5 minutes of the second period, they got back to putting offensive zone pressure on and skating again.
Nash carries in, dropped it off to Del Zotto. Here's Mark Stahl with a drive that's blocked by Korpikoski. Outlets to Vrbata. Vrbata moves in against Del Zotto. Martin Hansel deflected up into the netting by Mark Stahl. We join John Giannone between the benches. John.
All right, Sam, thanks very much. And along the lines of what Joe was saying, I talked to assistant coach Scott Arniel. He said, look, we had opportunities, good opportunities in the second period. We either missed the net or we didn't take the shot. He said, they're giving us chances. We need to make life a lot tougher for this goaltender. On the other side, he said, we need to get our numbers back when they have numbers up the ice, which I guess is a nice way of saying cut down on the odd man rushes.
You're right about that. Thanks, John. McDonough pinches in to try and keep it in the zone. He does. Taylor Pyatt is there with Jesper Fast. Brian Boyle. Coyotes come out.
Well, Phoenix made an adjustment in that second period. They started stretching things out a little bit, making long passes. Rangers are going to be shorthanded. Dan Girardi's going to get a penalty here, I believe, for elbowing on Mikhail Bodker directly in front of the Ranger bench.
Girardi goes off.
Roughing or elbowing, let's see. That's the penalty. So the Rangers, just what they did not need was an early penalty, and so they're going to have to get the job done here.
Roughing is the call, Joe.
Yeah, again, those two goals they scored, the first one was scored 30 seconds after the Rangers killed the penalty. The second Coyotes goal was scored 19 seconds after the Rangers killed the penalty.
Coyotes control Keith Yandel. Reverses to Vrbata for a drive. He scores! The Coyotes score on the power play this time. And a quick score. Early third period. And the Coyotes lead 3-1.
Now that's where Antoine Vermette is a dangerous player. He wins the face-off cleanly. Again, one of the best in the league. Wins the face-off. Now they get control. And in front of the net, here comes the shot. Hansel was there. And that, I don't know if it hit. It almost sounded to me like it hit a stick. But in either event, the shot from Radim Vrbata. And Girardi takes the early penalty for the Rangers. And that power play goal makes it 3-1.
A block by Zuccarello on the pass by Keith Yandel. Yandel moves up. So the Coyotes with a 2-goal lead for the first time in the game. It's 3-1. The giveaway and the shot by Strowman. A save by Smith, and he holds it. Verbata gets credit for the goal. Yandel and Vermette with the assist at 1:10. Vermette winning the face-off. And Verbata's second goal of the game.
Now, Sam, I was going to comment earlier in the game when you were talking about Vermette, and good penalty killer and a good defensive player, but that's how versatile he is. You can play him on the power play, and he wins a face-off, a crucial face-off, and it leads to a goal. He's been a real solid player since Don Maloney made the trade with Ottawa to acquire him.
Around the board, Stahl.
Columbus.
Yes. That's put in front, and Smith made a save on the shot by Derek Stepan. That puck goes flying up over the glass. And play stops. Saturday night on MSG. Joined Al Trotwig along with his gang. Ron Duguay, E.J. Radick, and Ken Danico for complete analysis of the Rangers, Islanders, Devils, and the entire NHL on Hockey Night Live, 9:30 p.m. on MSG.
Yeah, it was a good pass. Stepan going to the front of the net. Here's the pass by Nash. Hard to the other side. Yeah, I don't think it ever got to him, or maybe it hit the heel of his stick. But the defenseman came back as well and helped out.
The face-off out of the zone. Moore, Miller, and Dorsett on the ice. Dominic Moore chased. JT Miller takes over and wins the face-off. Rangers will fly to Los Angeles following the game tonight. They'll have 3 days off before playing the LA Kings Monday night. And Monday night starts a stretch of 3 games in 4 nights and 4 in 6, where the Rangers will play in LA, San Jose, Anaheim, and St. Louis. That's blocked by Dorsett. Rangers have done a good job, especially the last 2 periods, of blocking shots.
LA won their opening game tonight. They came back, played at Minnesota. They scored with 6 minutes to go to tie it and win it in a shootout.
Washington won in a shootout, coming back in the 3rd period and coming back after being down 3 goals twice to Calgary. Washington winning in a shootout. Ovechkin getting a couple of goals.
How about the start he's off to? 3 goals, 2 assists, and 20 shots in 2 games. He had 11 in the game tonight.
Pittsburgh with a shutout by Marc-Andre Fleury, shutting out the Devils 3-0. Here's Ribeiro. Slowed down. Plays it across. Shot by Schlemko. A save. Good quick snapshot by David Schlemko. We're 3:15 into the 3rd period. Coyotes with a 3-1 lead. Bodker stopped by Girardi, and Brassard bangs it out of the zone. Long pass tipped ahead by Rundblad, but taken back by Stepan. Rangers turn it. Nice play by Richards to Nash. Saved by Smith. Couldn't control the rebound, but he got help from Martin Hansel. And a good play by Stepan forced a turnover. Richards deep, off a skate and wide. Stepan out to John Moore, but it was taken away by Verbata. In comes Korpikoski for Verbata. Stralman goes after with Hansel. Up in the air, it bounces down. Nash with a good play.
It'll be interesting to see how Phoenix plays now from this point forward. They've always been a good defensive team. 2-goal lead at home in the 3rd period. How aggressive are they going to be? Or are they going to just get a little bit more deliberate with the way they play?
Maybe fall back defensively in the neutral zone.
And generally, if they don't have a real good chance to forecheck, they will fall back.
The outlet to Vermette leads Lesio. Lesio swings it around the boards. In comes David Moss. Good hit by John Moore. Boyle against Moss. John Moore with the outlet. Fost with a good pass. Boyle swings it deep. Smith out to get it. Stahl steps up. Nice play by Mark Stahl. Now Yandel with the outlet past Lesio. And Stahl goes to get it. 5:10 gone by, make it 5:15. Here's Brassard, pulls up, looking to make a play, shoots instead, missed the net. Stahl. Brassard. Schlemko on him. Girardi trying to keep it in. And it's brought out by Mikhail Bottker. Bottker drops it off. Good hit on Ribeiro by Girardi. They're still tangled up. Bottker playing it across to Doan. His shot blocked. Nice play by Benoit Pouliot. Schlemko off the stick of Doan. Stahl there to play it. Good shift for the Coyotes, keeping the puck in the Ranger zone. Zuccarello takes a hit. Rundblad gets away from Brassard. David Rundblad with a couple of good moves. Now Hansel with a shot, gloved, side of the net by Henrik Lundqvist. 6:22 gone by, third period. Coyotes have added to their lead. It's 3-1. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Rick Nash starts this season as the only player in the NHL with an active streak of 9 consecutive 20-goal seasons. Pretty impressive.
Yeah, real impressive. Always been a good goal scorer, Rick Nash. Former #1 overall pick in the league. And again, that line tonight, just hasn't had the puck as much. The best offensive line, I think, has been the Derek Brassard line. With Pouliot on one side and Zuccarello.
Yeah. Zuccarello came so close to scoring in the second period, ringing a rising shot off the post.
Here's Phoenix now. You see that? All 5 players back in the neutral zone.
Hard forecheck by Dorsett. Rundblad went down. Rundblad moves the post. And he moved the puck, and the net got knocked over. Smith is down. And after the whistle, some pushing and shoving involving Derek Dorsett. Now JT Miller is paired off.
Well, it looked to me, and I'm kind of thinking that it was the Phoenix player.
There's 2 young players. Neither one wants to back off, Joe. The linesmen get in between.
They'll both go to the penalty box. But there's a big hit by Dorsett. He got in there quickly. And Rundblad jumped out of the way. And then the collision on the side of the net. It looked like it was more inadvertent than anything, but Moore was there. He actually hit the net first before there was any contact with the Phoenix player. So if the faceoff is outside the zone, that's the right call.
It seems should be skating 4 aside. Miller and Lesio have gone to the penalty boxes.
Lesio and Michael Dorsett, and Michael Del Zotto know each other from the Toronto area. They spent a summer working out together.
Miller and Lesio 2 minutes each for roughing at 6:50. Skating 4 aside. Face off in the Phoenix zone.
Let's see if this doesn't give Nash a little bit more room and a little bit more time to do something here.
All right, step on to Nash with Del Zotto and Stahl for the Rangers. Hansel and Verbata for Phoenix with McCulloch and Ekman Larson. Nash, quick shot saved by Smith. Verbata. For McCulloch, right in on him. Nash tried to take it away. Hansel able to move it up to Verbata. Del Zotto and Verbata go to the corner. Now Nash, taken away by Verbata. Tried to get it in front. It was tipped on goal, and the rebound score. Radim Verbata with a hat-trick goal, and Phoenix leads 4-1.
Verbata wants to sign that new contract. They've been negotiating, haven't gotten too far, but This will help his cause.
They're having a good time on opening night here.
Now Rick Nash ends up with the puck, and he'll just end up losing it. Right here, he's got it. He tries to make a play in front of the net. Verbata ends up basically blocking the pass, and then Nash started going up the ice instead of staying with Verbata, and Verbata finds it and puts it over Lundqvist to make it a 4-1 game for Phoenix, and there are the hats. It'll take a little time for them to clean those up, but he has been an underrated, you don't hear people talk about him much, but his goal scoring, he scores a goal just about every 2 games in the last couple of years.
So Radim Verbata, who made the play on the takeaway and just followed up. Mark Stahl got his stick on the puck and went on goal. Rangers unable to control. And you can't tell it by Dave Tippett's face, but certainly inside he's feeling pretty good about things.
Well, he was saying this morning he liked the training camp that they had. You know, and he told his team, listen, we've been talking about this for 4 years now. We've been without ownership. And if we got good ownership, you know, we could be a good organization. And he said, okay, now we've got good ownership. Now and we got a good organization. Now you got to keep winning. You got to make the next move. And he has preached that to his players.
Verbata from Hansel at 7:23. Here's our Tri-Honda game recap. Verbata the hat trick. Mark Stahl, the Rangers' only goal, a power play goal. And the Rangers were outshot in the second period, 16-9. Martin Hansel with 2 assists in the game.
Well, they've been they've been a real good twosome. Hansel and Verbata have played together now for a number of years here. And they're trying to find a left wing that will fit on that line. I guess they have found one. He's got the hat trick.
Right.
I guess Korpikoski works.
So, with 12:25 remaining in the third, the Rangers have a long way to come back here, down by 3.
Goal.
Still skating 4-on-4. Girardi plays it toward the net, stick to side by Smith. John Moore winds it deep to Brad Richards. Richards trying to come out in front of him, stopped by Yandel. Yandel outlets to Vermette. John Moore is there trying to take it away. Rangers do. Girardi. Richards with Zuccarello. Richards checked there by Ekman Larsson. Ekman Larsson with a hit on Stralman. Richards tees it up. That was blocked in front. I don't think it got through. Ekman Larsson, the outlet, wide open. Shane Doan. He moves in. He fakes. He shoots. Save by Lundqvist.
He was open because the Rangers now are trying to get goals, and so McDonough was in front of the opposition net.
Open man, Ekman Larsson, saved by Lundqvist. Ekman Larsson finds an open man. It's Doan. And another save by Lundqvist. Wow. Coyotes firing, and Lundqvist doing all he can to keep it close. Offside Rangers. 11:06 to go here in the third. Introducing the lounges at Madison Square Garden. A spectacular new group seating and hospitality experience on the new bridge level. Visit NewYorkRangers.com or call 212-465-6080. The lounges at Madison Square Garden. You'll love it. Transformation of the building just about complete. They've been doing a great job there. And there was a tricky move by Stahl. Looked like he was going to fire it around the boards. Instead, he shot it toward the net. Just went wide. Hansel moves in. That's blocked by Del Zotto. Stahl hit by Hansel. Del Zotto. That goes by Pouliot. Del Zotto brings it across. Here's Brassard. Teams are back at full strength on the ice. Pouliot pushes it back to Stahl. That's a wrister that's blocked in front, clearing a 10, stopped by Stahl. Del Zotto pass blocked by Rundblad, and David Rundblad clears it out to Hansel. Korpikoski takes a hit from Pouliot.
You know who took the worst of that was Taylor Pyatt. He's hurting as he went down to the ice and got up slowly.
Moore, Dominic Moore gets it to Del Zotto. Fost leading Moore. Moore with Boyle. And the puck taken away by Klinkhammer. Yandel to Derek Morris. Klinkhammer bouncing it wide of the net. John Moore couldn't control. Klinkhammer. Move it quickly. This is McCulloch toward the net, but wide. Jesper Fost brings it out. Fost in his NHL debut with a long shot knocked away by Mike Smith. Time growing short on the Rangers. Down by 3 with 9:15 to go. Girardi's pass was deflected and brought in by Mike Ribeiro. He's got Bottker with him. Nice move, good poke check by McDonough. Good defensive play. Ribeiro winds it to Bottker, lets it go through. And a good play by Girardi on Ribeiro. Kyle Chipchura got the first goal of the game for Phoenix, and that was followed by 3 by Radim Vrbata. 1 in the second period, 2 here in the third. Mark Stahl with the only goal for the Rangers, a power play goal in the second period.
It's been a good solid period by Phoenix here in the third period. Again, they're playing that system. There they are again. If there's not a lot of time to get in, just fall back.
Good clear by Mike Smith. David Moss leads Vermette in deep against Stahl. Del Zotto chips it off the boards to Benoit Pouliot. That's broken up by Schlemko, batted it ahead. Rangers play it. And Rangers haven't been able to get many chances the last couple of minutes because of the defensive style that the Coyotes are throwing at the Rangers right now. One man in deep, 4 men back.
It is again, boy. It's tough to make a play.
Behind the net, Moore. Dominic Moore turns. That was blocked away by Derek Morris. John Moore goes to get it. After him is Klinkhammer. That's Chris Brown, number 44. That deflects in the corner.
Chris Brown, another one of the young players that made this squad. They weren't expecting him to make it. And he worked and earned himself a spot.
Smith trying to play it. It was blocked by Dorsett. Smith fell down. The stick went flying behind the goal line.
Now there was a collision, and now Korpikoski and Dorsett. And then Dorsett is able to recover.
Dorsett's going with Chris Brown.
Brown came from behind, bumped into him, but Dorsett was able to turn and deliver the first couple of punches. But there was a collision. Dorsett with Smith, and that's what incensed the Coyotes players.
Just under 7 minutes remaining here in the third period.
Brown is a player that played at the University of Michigan. There's the Dorsett just lost his footing and slid into Smith, who went down. And you saw the rest.
Things settle down. Penalties coming up. 6:55 to go in the third. We are back in Glendale, Arizona. Joe, I'm wondering if Dorsett could have avoided taking out the legs of Mike Smith.
You know, Sam, it looked to me like he just lost his footing and slid into him is the way it looked. But I think that some of the Phoenix players felt that there was more there. I didn't think there was. But Brown will get high marks from his coach and his teammates for doing what he did.
Rangers wind up with a power play because Brown gets the extra 2 minutes.
Rangers have to score here, have any chance at all.
Brown 2 for instigating, 5 for fighting. Dorsett 5 for fighting. Chipchura is serving the extra 2. Rangers 1 for 3 on the power play in the game.
Rangers penalty number 15, Derek Dorsett, 5 minutes for fighting.
Richards, long pass. He leads JT Miller to the net. He's stopped by Smith. There was a big chance. Great pass from Brad Richards.
And another.
Stall. Sorry, Joe.
No, I was going to say, Sam, and another one there. Richards has made some good passes tonight, more in one game than I think we saw most of last season.
Stepan, Richards, Zuccarello, Stahl, and Pouliot on the ice right now. Richards up to Zuccarello, quickly to Stepan. Leaves it for Pouliot. Around the boards. David Schlemko gets there. Nice play by Zuccarello. Now Stepan. Here's Del Zotto. Just on. Replace Stahl. That pass tipped and comes out of the zone. 5:45 to go, third period. 50 seconds to go on the power play. Open man, and Richards saved by Smith. Now Brassard to Richards for the shot high off the glass. Richards is very noticeable, Joe. He's done some good things here.
I like the way he's played from the standpoint he's been decisive with the puck. Either taking the shot, he's made some real good passes tonight. And again, I think for him, he needs to regain some confidence in his overall play.
Nice play by Brassard. Works in deep against Vermette. Zuccarello is there as well for the Rangers. With McCulloch. It's 3-on-3 in the corner. Zuccarello digging. Poked loose. Again, Vermette is there. Power play is over. Rangers 1 for 4 on the power play in the game. Shot by Girardi goes wide. Comes out to Del Zotto. 4:45 to go. Third period. Rangers down by 3. 4-1. Del Zotto holding. Bottker on the forecheck for Phoenix. Girardi to Taylor Pyatt. That was stopped by Shane Doan. Now McDonough fires ahead to Pyatt. Off the boards, Jesper Fast moves in on Yandel, who deflected it. Pyatt for Boyle. Strawman with a shot that's tipped wide. McDonough trying to keep it in against Doan. Fast along the boards. Yandel brings it out for Phoenix. Under 4 minutes to go. Strawman able to lift it out. Played there by David Rundblad. Mike Ribeiro.
You watch this, Sam, and you know the Rangers will be happy to get Ryan Callahan back in the lineup. Hopefully Monday night against Los Angeles.
There's a chance. There's been no official word yet, but he is getting very close. Long shot saved. There's a rebound. Carried wide by Klinkhammer. Up the boards. Rundblad with a shot blocked by Zuccarello. Moss was hit by Dominic Moore. John Moore trying to play it. He's tied up with Rob Klinkhammer. Dominic Moore off the glass, out of the zone. Under 3 minutes to go. Coyotes with a solid game to open their season. Stepan blocked. Shot by Rundblad. The Rangers were right there, 2-1 going into the third, with 2 goals here in the third. One on the power play by Radim Vrbata. Vrbata getting both goals, has a hat trick in the game, and it's 4-1 Phoenix. Stahl for Richards. Stepan stopped by Hansel, who rides him hard into the boards in front of the bench. Got to hurt the back. Nash and Hansel in center ice. The something you don't
How about that?
often see.
Two huge players that don't fight all that often.
And things settle down.
Well, Stepan was hit hard by Hansel. And then here comes the play. Hansel again is 6'6". And that was, and then Nash goes right over to Hansel afterwards. Say something. Hansel was saying a few things as well. And away they go. 2:04 remaining.
Upcoming schedule brought to you by Lexus, the official luxury vehicle of the New York Rangers. Monday night in Los Angeles against the Kings, 10:30 p.m. on MSG. Tuesday night in San Jose against the Sharks, 10:30 p.m. on MSG. Thursday night in Anaheim against the Ducks, 10 p.m. on MSG. All games preceded by Visa Rangers Game Night. Hope you'll join us for all the games. We start this new season. A minute 50 remaining.
Dean Verbata has 6 goals now in his last 2 games. He scored the hat trick in the final game of the season last year. He's hot.
Absolutely.
Huh? So what if there
keep
was
it going.
5 months between games?
He rested. He had a rest. He waited for the next game.
He kept the good feeling going.
Nash and Hansel get 5 minutes each for fighting at 17:56. Morris up the boards. Rangers will have some practice time in LA. Have some off time in LA. And they will get their next ice time, game time, Monday night against the LA Kings. Coyotes with a good start to their game, under a minute to go in the game. Rangers have to regroup. Only got the power play goal. They've been outshot 32-24.
Yeah, I thought Mike Smith was really good in the first period, Sam. The Rangers had a good start to the game. Smith made some quality saves, but I think penalties when the Rangers took them was a problem.
Brian Boyle moves in with a quick shot. Smith makes the save and holds it. 34.3 remaining. Stay tuned following the game action for the Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame. We'll hear from head coach Alain Vigneault. Back in the studio, Bill Pino and Ron Duguay. Joe Micheletti and Dave Maloney will have their views of what happened, and John Ginone working the locker room. It's Mercedes-Benz Rangers postgame complete coverage coming up next. Mike Smith certainly will be a topic of conversation because he did exactly what the Coyotes were hoping. He stoned the Rangers at even strength.
Well, that second goal was really an important play by Smith when the Rangers were caught in their own end. Smith kept the play alive.
Delzato tried to make a play. The puck cleared out. Out goes Lundqvist to play it away from Lucas Lesio. 20 seconds to go. Delzato lifts it out of the zone. Coyotes, as Joe mentioned, got momentum from their power play opportunities. Didn't score on their first 2, but scored right after. And then got a power play goal early in the third that broke it open. It's all over. Opening night disappointment for the Rangers and Alain Vigneault, their new head coach. And a big night for Radim Verbata with a hat trick as the Coyotes beat the Rangers 4-1.
Yeah, you could almost see in that second period that Dave Tippett, the head coach of Phoenix, told his team after the first period, this is not the way we can play this game. We have got to tighten up and not get into a track meet with the Rangers, because the Rangers had some good chances in the first, and Mike Smith, as I mentioned, was good. So they added a little, they tightened the screws a little bit in the second. They were better defensively, and that still allowed them to create offenses. They had 16 shots.
Turning point of the game, served up by DQ, the home of fan food, not fast food.
Yeah,
the penalties, Joe.
Pardon me, Sam. Yeah, the penalties. That was the early one, and then there was another one coming up on the hook, and then this one to Girardi to start the third period. So the first two they didn't score on, but they scored right after. The third one, they did score the power play goal to make it a 3-1 game.
Coyotes celebrate with Mike Smith. They beat the Rangers 4-1 on the opening night of their respective seasons.